Now, you are aware. Of my voices in the bushes, of my voices in the towns. I've talked with the chiefs to talk with the voices to leave the bushes and come back to the towns. Some say they're in their motherland, brother, sister, or fatherland. Some say they're educators, Sean Sim, or educators. Let me quote from the Bible, Romans 13, 1-5. Where the voices and the guesses, we thank the head of state. The military are professionals. We thank the head of state. The military have never killed somebody. We thank the head of state. How can you say this? We thank the head of state. 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 Chief Mukete is a chief because God said he will be. If President Biya is the head of state, God said he will be.
Objection!
Okay, let's take it that way. On instructions of the head of state in Kumai in Vako Division, the president extended condolences as the dead buried the bereaved. The war is over, no few pocket resistances are left. The voices from the bushes and Nigerians, what a shame. Where the voices and the guesses, we thank the head of state. The military are professionals. We thank the head of state. The military have never killed somebody. We thank the head of state. How can you say this? We thank the head of state. 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 Quand c'est trop, c'est laid. Quand c'est laid, c'est bizarre. Quand c'est bizarre, on gère. Maintenant, on gère. Graphic people, inshallah. Graphic funds, inshallah. Those people that drop at you and for come, mommy for winner. Mountain race is soon come and will not go run from Manbuya. The government just created 5,000 different jobs for the boys, girls, mothers, fathers, sons, students, youths, everybody sees, you have work sis and the busy, Cameroon citizens sis and any other type of sis. Where the voices and the guesses, we thank the head of state. The military are professionals. We thank the head of state. The military have never killed somebody. We thank the head of state. How can you say this? We thank the head of state. 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 Where the voices and the guesses, we thank the head of state. The military are professionals. We thank the head of state. The military have never killed somebody. We thank the head of state. How can you say this? We thank the head of state. 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 We thank the head of.
Thank you all very much for joining us on this special edition. You can call it our editorial. It's very, very important that you're following up, and it's always been our wish to ensure that we bring you analyses depending on how things are unfolding. I want to thank the Cameroonian artist Kobo, who just released a single yesterday, February 16th, at about 5 p.m. And it's called Boyses and Girlses, where Kobo is depicting a very significant, in a comic manner, some of the misconstructions of Cameroon's territorial administration minister, Paul Atanganji, as well as depicting some very serious issues that are going on in that Central African country, which of course is experiencing a 4-year-old armed conflict in its Anglophone regions of the Northwest and the Southwest. My name is Eric Tataw. You're welcome to National Telegraph. As you're all aware, it is our very steady policy to ensure that we remain professional on this platform despite the rantings of some, I can call them illegal straws, who don't at all understand how journalism is practiced, and they at every moment expect that because Eric Tataw is of English-speaking Cameroonian, he must desecrate his platform, his business, his media organ, and go absolutely contrary to all media tenants just to please their egocentric tendencies. Just to remind you, our job as a media organ is to report the truth regardless, or we simply would just stay quiet if you don't want to report the truth. But as it is, National Telegraph belongs to a fighter and the Lion editor-in-chief would always report the stories the way they're happening, regardless of your concerns, so long as the report are not contravening realities and they are not against journalistic tenets and journalists. With that said, one, thank you for joining the show. Today we're going to look at some of the biggest lies and the biggest mafia in the armed conflict in Cameroon's northwest and southwest, where we are baffled that both the separatists, some separatist leaders, and even government officials don't want this 4-year-old armed conflict to end, simply because it's been a new oxygen, a gold mine for them. Without the war, they will not enrich themselves, they will not pay their bills, either from the side of the government or from the side of the separatists. And most, if not almost 80 or 90% of them have resorted to issues that will only prolong the war and consequently prolong the suffering of Anglophone Cameroonians or Southern Cameroonians or the people of the northwest and southwest of Cameroon. Some call them Ambazonians. That is fine. Whatever name you choose, that is okay. But National Telegraph will represent what is symbolic as far as jurisdictions are concerned. Today, before we look into some of the issues that we'll be discussing, I want to go into this petty issue. Well, it would look a little bit petty, but I think it's gradually gaining momentum, and this should be quashed immediately. And once you join us, please let us know where you're watching from. We want to interact with you, and thank you all for joining from all the corners of the world. It is our very, very huge pleasure to have you on the platform. Today I will talk about Bahrain, something that's happening in Bahrain, and a lot of people are concerned about some agents who take people to work in Bahrain. I'm going to talk about that, and we'll give a hot number for people who are having issues in Bahrain to contact us so that we can expose some of the foul play of some agents who are supposed to be doing their job, but they end up being scammers and stuff like that. There is no problem doing somebody documentation to go abroad and getting channels and getting people flights. That is good. It's a whole part of the hospitality business, and we think that we should encourage people who have the the means to assist people to go abroad, regardless of the country. But that should also be done within legal frameworks, and you should also make sure that those you are helping are not cheated, and you should have your consent while you are doing things for them. We'll talk about Bahrain. There's a lot going on. People are suffering there, and I think we should expose it at this juncture. We're also going to talk about Paul Tasson, who is one of Cameroon's profile personalities. We'll talk about the DDR Center. We will not forget to talk about the BLM chiefs who were killed. 3 chiefs in number. They were killed in Cameroon's southwest region. We'll talk about the torture of the man in Ndu. We'll also talk about the biggest lie in the armed conflict, which is the situation in Batibo, the non-existing situation in Batibo that both the Cameroon government and separatists are trying to place in order to play games. But thank God, nobody at the level of the international community is buying that fake story. And today, let me start. We'll also talk about a certain Franklin Jumet that has been sacked. He is a xenophobia actor, one of Cameroon's toughest xenophobic agents. He has been sacked from his current government position. And a lot of people are celebrating, and we'll explain why people are celebrating. Okay, but before we go on, let me start by talking about FLAC, the new National Telegraph symbolic approach of news reporting, where we are highlighting, we're doing hashtag on countries and putting their flags. And we will only seize this last opportunity to educate some, I can say followers for now, because I want to assume they do not know what they're doing, they're confused. And well, to be honest, as CEO and my 15 years in the journalism, 15 plus years in journalism, I would say that people can be very comic. Why do I say this? I see or read comments where people are concerned about National Telegraph using the flag of Cameroon when they're talking about Cameroon. Well, that's an approach, and the first story that was reported wasn't about Cameroon. The very first story that was started putting flags on was Uganda, Zambia, and other countries. And this is the reason why we are putting those flags. We think that, and you see a lot of people are beginning to copy, although they are afraid to use the flag because they know it's a unique way that Telegraph reports its news, National Telegraph, across Africa. no news organ does that. If some are starting to do it, it's because they're sorry from us. And we're always happy to have people copy from us. We can also learn from people, let's put it that way. So we use the flag to introduce countries. This is because National Telegraph has built an international reputation, and we are also helping to teach some African countries, and especially Cameroonian bloggers, to know that if you look before, most bloggers in Cameroon always report like, oh, 2 people were killed in Bamenda, Northwest region. They wouldn't even put Cameroon. But they've learned from us that when you're trying to be on social media and you're making your news international, you can refer to Cameroon's Northwest, as Bamenda as a town in Cameroon Northwest. And you see that most of them are copying that. Before, none of them were doing it. And most, if not 99% of Cameroonian media organs were not reporting foreign news. But when National Telegraph was created, my ambition as CEO was to be global. And I think that we have set the pace in Cameroon media reporting. And many of them now, you can see them reporting foreign news from DRC, from Sudan. They're trying to get up to speed. I mean, it's something that we've been doing since the creation of National Telegraph. And so we upgraded, and we were using flags. Why are we using flags? Let me explain. Because we have readers from across the world. So we don't only use Cameroon flag, we use flags, American flags. And those symbols are there. They are ready on Android and on some platforms. So you can, when you type a country, it's easy for the flag to pop up if you have the settings. But some people, and we use it because if a Ugandan is browsing through Facebook, they will get more interest to read something with a Ugandan flag. Cameroonians will read something with a Cameroonian flag. People from Cameroon could also read something with a Ugandan flag depending on the interest. Our idea is that we wanted to represent every country. But some people take it out of context. And it's not funny, because you only make yourself stupid each time you come on a platform and say, oh, why are you using the Cameroon flag? And the story is talking about Cameroon. What should we be using? Some people think that, oh, okay, Eric Tataw is using Cameroon flag because he's working with the Cameroon government. Hell no. You want me to use an Ambazonian flag? You should take an example, do an example by yourself. When you're making your comment, indicate to me that this is the Ambazonian flag, so that I can also put it. Yes, I can put Cameroon versus Ambazonia, and I'll have the Ambazonian logo, the flag. But it's not on Facebook, it's not on Android, because these platforms are created based on geographical locations. And the +237 that all of you are using indicates a country as Cameroon. This is not because we're not saying this because we're doing advocacy for Cameroon. No. It's true that countries can be an area of a country, or a former colony, or a country that once existed and probably was colonized, like Southern Cameroon's aka Ambazonia, can be in a conflict with the central government in order to re-establish their autonomy or sovereignty. But that does not mean that the Ambazonian flag will readily be available for a news organ to use. And so let us do our job as journalists. All right? Let us do our job as journalists. Let us calm down. Because to be honest, the rate at which people disgrace Ambazonia is so funny, it's alarming. Because you can't come on a platform and something is talking about Yaoundé and there's a Cameroon flag there, and you're telling me, oh no, why are you using Cameroon flag? Who amongst Ugandans have you seen asking us why we are using the Ugandan flag? When we report stories about Tigray and Ethiopia, do you see anybody from Tigray coming to argue us that we should use the Tigray flag? Because there is no particular flag on Tigray that is already imputed on all these softwares. So we go with what is available and based on geographical and jurisdiction. So please give us a break and try to be mature. All right. Okay, with this said, so the next time you'll be making those comments, you only be making yourself very stupid, and a lot of people laugh at you when you do that. Okay, we recognize the right of the English-speaking Cameroonians to demand for self-determination, to demand for a new country of their own, or re-establish their country. That is fine. But you must learn to separate this Eric Tataw, who is speaking here, doing an editorial as the CEO of National Telegraph and as a reporter and journalist of National Telegraph, and the Eric Tataw that you know as an activist. Is very important for your survival. By the way, some of you think that Eric Tataw should come on this platform and say some of the things he used to say when he's on the Eric Tataw platform. Are you aware that Eric Tataw platform doesn't exist no more, and we cannot even create any account on our own with the name? So we are using this media organ, and I must remain very prudent, because this is a legacy. This media organ was created in 2013, and it was created with a goal and without the Anglophone crisis in mind. There was no way that we thought that there would be a war. I don't even like the war going on. I think it should end now. And how do we solve the problem? It should end. There should be a negotiated settlement where we see where it ends. Separation, fine. Whatever you choose. Remember that there are three categories of people who are fighting this war. One, the rebels who want total separation, the Cameroon government that wants a unitary state, and of course there are moderates that want the moderates who want a federal state. And National Telegraph must represent the views of all these three persons. Put it in your mind. We must represent the views of all these three persons. There is no way you expect Joe Biden, the current president of the United States, to read National Telegraph and take any information serious if you want me to be doing your propaganda. We are not game for that insensitivity. Please, we think that our job is made very difficult by Ambazonians themselves, who think Eric Tataw must always, do a propaganda for them. Good. Now, let me also go to something very crucial. Somebody wrote a comment that I'm going to reply to, that you're always praising yourself. Yes, because, by the way, I'm not. I'm just explaining something that has nothing to do with praising myself. But praising myself, I must do, yes, I must. And I'll explain why. Because just like you using a fake profile to comment on this live stream, most of you or some of you have the pull down my brother strategy. Some of you are not happy and you want this platform down by all costs. You want me to do the things I used to do on the Eric Tataw platform so that all of you will be happy. Some of you will be happy once this page disappears on Facebook, and you'll be there and you make sure that your excesses are not checked. I'm very careful. I'm prudent. I'm aware of your plans to push me to do the things that I used to do on the Eric Tataw platform so that this telegraph can disappear and you have your way. That's why you say, oh, Eric Tataw is no longer shouting as he used to shout before. They don't shout in the news organ depending, except it's a debate. So it should always be this way. If you ask me that I'm going to be praising myself, it's not exactly praising myself. I can't be listing my achievements because, of course, if it's left to some of you, there's nothing good you see about people who work hard, people who struggle to maintain a standard, or you think because you're lazy, you're crooked, everybody should be like you. No, it is not possible. I'm not going to go down the road to, ego massage your conspiracy theories. It's never going to happen. Let me start with this very important thing that has to do with Ndu, where you people must have seen the video where a man was seriously beaten, and you all know, like you've seen, and we're going to be bringing out some stories to just represent them exactly to you. Now, it's a shame that the Cameroon government operates in this manner, and we have opened investigations in the Donga Mantung area where that incident happened in Cameroon's northwest, and government officials or government authorities claim that they have arrested the people who are perpetrating that, or who perpetrated that act. You saw the video. I'm not going to show it because even the picture when we reported it, it got covered by Facebook. And I mean, they have the right to do that because it's really graphic. Trust me, it's something that nobody wants to watch because it's so terrible the way they beat up that guy to near death. Yesterday, National Telegraph, as usual, as our fashion, we brought out a picture of the guy, sitting somewhere with the deputy mayor and other persons. And so he also did a video that you've seen. He's talking about how he's recovering. And it's a great thing that he's recovering, but he needs serious medical attention. But this is the crux of the matter. We thank God that that gentleman is at least okay for now, pending medical checkups. But what's important for the public to know and the world to know, and that's the role of National Telegraph. The Cameroon government now owes the public a responsibility to show us those soldiers, those tormentors, those people who assaulted that gentleman, because we've looked all around Ndu and no one can verify where those persons that the Cameroon government named or cited in their admission report are seen anywhere in Ndu. They are nowhere to be found. So the Cameroon government owes the responsibility to show the press where they have kept those people and when they will start prosecuting them, because as far as we know, that story from the Cameroon government is not trusted, it's fake. We have verified. So please, the government of Cameroon has the responsibility now to show the world where they are keeping those soldiers and what penalties they are giving them. We need to see them in jail, and we need to see them pay for what they did to that young man. What they did was barbaric. It can never be supported, and we must all join hands in condemning it regardless. So that is the first and most important thing. Those soldiers who were listed, they have not been detained, or their detention cannot be verified. I want the Cameroon government to verify that, show us, take the media there, traditional media organs, let them go there. Let's see those soldiers and let's make sure they're in jail. Let's see when they're going to court, and let's see how they're paying some fines and paying compensation to the young man who was beaten to near death. It's very important, and we will not rest until we get the Cameroonian regime to show us where these guys, are exactly kept. It's very important. Okay, now we want to also stay on a very important aspect, which is the connection between a fake incident that they claim happened in Batibo and another incident that happened in Lebialem where 3 chiefs were killed, and also the Ndu incident and the connection between 2 supposed Anglophone activists, Lucas Asu and Kemi Ashu, that I'm mentioning their names for the first time. We have done our investigation and we can authoritatively conclude, I will start with the 2 activists, that Lucas Asu and Kemi Ashu are working very closely with the Cameroon government. These are agents that the Cameroon government has planted within the Ambazonian revolution to ensure that they provoke tension and do everything to give the Cameroon government a leverage to do their propaganda and corrode the image of the revolution. I will start with Lucas Asu. Who hails from Akwaya and has for the past 3 years been working with the Cameroon government, and this information is confirmed. We can authoritatively confirm this. Today, as part of our media outreach, we reached out to the communications officer of the AGOFC, who is Akosin Raymond. Unfortunately, we missed calls. Lucas Asu was formerly just Libre. He was just there. He didn't actually, he belonged to no group, but finally he joined the AGOFC of Dr. Cho Lucas Ayaba. And he joined the AGOFC on the instruction of the Cameroon government in order to do some terrible campaigns that will end up making the public to hate Cho Lucas Ayaba. And I will explain. Lucas Asu, I told Akosin Raymond, Lucas Asu has collected monies at least 5 times from the Cameroon government, and we can authoritatively state that one of the transactions was done with the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. What is the role of Lucas Asu? Lucas Asu's role is to make sure that he does everything to make Ayaba Cho being hated. And to be honest, we have done our investigation about Cho Ayaba. He stands out as a very focused rebel leader who really desires to see that the people of the Northwest and Southwest are liberated, although he is considered by many, including this platform, as power hungry. That's a fact. He likes to be in charge, whether or not you like it, but it doesn't cancel the fact that he works hard to see people liberated. So Lucas Asu was brought in, and what is his goal? His goal is that they bring him to ensure that he says only the good things about Cho Ayaba, not being critical. Lucas Asu condemns, brings conspiracy about all other groups, and then he exactly does this and he invites a lot of hate on Cho Lucas Ayaba. He also takes information from AGOFC and sells it to the Cameroon government, to Cameroon authorities. This is a fact, is verified, and we can say it authoritatively without blinking. And it is, as a matter of fact, a matter of urgency that we are making sure that we bring this aspect to the public eye. Now, let us we'll come back to Lucas Asu. Kemi Ashu, which of course we know her personally, but we are not going to put her information out there because it is not part of our part of our confidentiality policy is to make sure that we don't release information of people we've known before. Kemi Ashu works closely with Cameroon, 2 Cameroonian ministers. When her mother died, she went to Cameroon and of course landed at the Douala International Airport, where she went for her mother's funeral. What's Kemi Ashu's role is to do propaganda and support people who are corroding the image of the revolution. For example, the picture that circulated on Facebook about the fake story of a child being burnt in Batibo was first released by Kemi Ashu, and this was part of a long-standing plan that the Cameroon government gave Kemi Ashu to put it on social media. That picture did not happen in Batibo. That incident never happened in Batibo. And we are very certain about what we are saying. So Kemi Ashu was given this picture by one of the ministers that, of course, most of you already know, Paul Atanganji, to use it as a spin. So when Kemi Ashu put out this picture, because remember that the issue in Ndu had happened on the 11th of February, and the video was already circulating on the other platforms. What happened? The Cameroon government needed a leverage to be able to blame Ambazonians, and that picture was immediately put on Facebook, and they accused the Cameroon government. It took the Cameroon government a while to reply. And when they replied, people saw the reply. The reply was a fallacy, it was a mess, and it was purely an indication and a confirmation that it didn't happen in Batibo. What did the Cameroon government say on their reply when they were responding to allegations about the Batibo, the burnt child in Batibo? The Cameroon government admitted that actually that happened in Batibo, and it involved Commando and Efang. Commando, the related Commando to Akwanga, and of course Efang to Ayabacho, which everybody knows. And what was the Cameroon government trying to do? Number one, they were trying to depict the Ambazonians as burning babies, when nothing like that ever happened in Batibo, and Ambazonians have never burnt babies alive. They have never done that. And what did they do? They quickly admitted to the incident in Ndu, where a video circulated and showed their soldiers actually beating the young man, the innocent man in Ndu. But when they admitted that, they also announced that they have arrested and detained some of those soldiers. So they used that as a leverage to say, okay, if we can accept something that our soldiers did and we are detaining them, we can also tell the international community that this issue that happened in Batibo, which actually did not happen, was done by Ambazonians, and the international community will easily believe us. Let me tell you, just for the books and the play roles, Cameroon knows all the lies they tell, and they know that you know that is a lie. But the international community does not know that it is a lie they are telling. They are convincing the international community about the things they want the international community to know. And they have people within your cycles that they are using to play this playbook. Lucas Ashu, Kemi Ashu, and others that will be releasing. These are the two main people that the Cameroon government is using, including some few Francophone bloggers who are always there to tarnish the reputation of real patriots. Now, let me be clear with you. The situation in Batibo, what did the Cameroon government say? They said that Efang and Commando had an issue. What were they trying to portray? They portray Ambazonians as fighting against themselves. So Efang finally set fire and burned Commando's baby. I'll ask you, those of you who have seen that picture, the man who is carrying that baby and crying, does he look like Commando? The answer is no. We have once again contacted all the chiefs in all the villages in Batibo, and we have spoken to at least 10 per village of Batibo people, from Ambo to Ashong. John Baku, who is an activist, a powerful activist in the Ambazonian revolution, is from Batibo. But John Baku cannot even situate where that happened. Nobody can situate it. And there is no Batibo person who can say that, okay, I am from Ambo, my neighbors are from this and that. They cannot situate where that happened. So the Cameroon government pulled out a trick with Kemi Ashu, and Ambazonians fell for it. And some of you are asking Eric Tataw, oh, why did you refuse? Or why are you saying that the child was not burned in Batibo? Because no such incident happened in Batibo. And we want to challenge you to bring us the name of that man or any family member, one name, just the first or last name. You don't have that. Can you agree with me that it is only funny for you to accept a fat lie from the Cameroon government, and yet you cannot situate anything, and you cannot have any substance or lay your hand on anything concrete about that issue in Batibo? Let us put it that way. Okay, let me take you to Ndu. When the video of Ndu went viral, people were speculating. We reported it and said it happened in Ndu and described where Ndu is found. And the next day, you saw communiques coming out. They even identified the victim. You can see the victim. In all stories that have happened, from Kumba to Moyoka to any other stories or stories that have happened around the Ambazonian conflict or the Southern Cameroon versus Cameroon conflict, we have seen pictures, names, places, dates, and relatives of victims and deceased. So why is it that it is only in the Batibo story where no single media organ can point at anything related to this particular incident? That is the question we're talking about. Now, we would end with the situation in Lebialem, where 3 chiefs were killed. And this gave Paul Tassom the leverage to organize an event in Yaoundé and call the Ambazonian terrorists. Now, have you asked yourselves why only at the time when the Ndu incident happened, then we found that 3 chiefs have been killed in Lebialem? And a lot of people ask us, Eric Tataw, why did you not report the 3 chiefs? I want to be honest with you. Do you know why we didn't report it? Because we're ignoring it. Because some of you will not like the report. And because, most of you wouldn't like the report, it is so important for us all to let you know one thing. All right? So important. And all of us must remain very, 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 very crucial and straight to the point. We simply, I'm very sorry, sometimes you always have, I think I'll just go into 1 minute, please. My mistake. It happens sometimes. Unfortunately, we are not in the studio. Can you give me a minute? I'll be with you in 5 minutes, okay? Thank you. Yeah, I saw the note. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I had to attend to that. All right, so sorry about that. I mean, we have exigencies. It always happens sometimes. As you know, we are on a professional page, but definitely this is a mobile editorial. We can have people come in and out and stuff like that. Sometimes it happens. Thank you so much. Now, I will stay on the Lebialem case, where a lot of people ask us why we didn't report the issue in Lebialem. Say, oh, Eric Tataw, you didn't report it because, this and that happened. Because it's not an issue that we are afraid to report. It's because we're just taking our time so that you all who are conspiracy theorists can play your cards. Now, this is what happened. 3 chiefs were killed in Lebialem, and I can show you their pictures while they were alive. You've not probably seen those pictures on any other platform, but let me show you this. And let's get it clearly before I make the declaration and tell you what's going on. So these are their pictures. I have all their pictures. When that incident happened, this is one of the chiefs here. You have one of them. They are actually sub-chiefs. And then this is another one. You can see their picture. Those who are from Lebialem will recognize them. So I have all their pictures right here, but I have not published. I have their full names. We have their full names. This one is called Chief Folesio of Aloswo. I might not be able to pronounce some of those names correctly. This is him. And this is Chief Fozizong of Mbra. So this is Chief Fozizong of Mbra. So those are quarters within. This is Chief Fomin in Kencha of Ndongong, who was a head teacher as well. That's him right there. And all these chiefs were killed. Of course, as you are aware, I will just give you a brief about the chiefs before I will tell you what happened. So some people say 4 chiefs. No, there are 3 chiefs that were killed. And where did this happen? This happened in Eswata. Eswata is a village in Lebialem subdivision. And these chiefs were killed during, they were all taken to the market square of for a care down. That's how they call it. And then from there, they call it the Enchant Salt Market before being shot and killed. And I mean, to me, I think that it's a sad thing and we sympathize with these chiefs. The big question that everybody will be asking is that who did this act? Of course, I cannot come on a media like this and start trying to say something that didn't happen or something that and start giving blame to other persons. If all of you were worried that I didn't report this story and you wanted me to report it, you know who killed the chief? Everybody is from Lebialem, from this area. You see these people, we have all their pictures here. You saw them, they were rescued and stuff like that. That's why I say sometimes we'll prefer to ignore something, but since some of you are conspiracy theorists, we're always going to tell you the truth. These chiefs were taken by Field Marshal. Yes, you read the story of Field Marshal Oliver Leclerc, who killed these chiefs. Yes, that story is very authentic. Oliver Leclerc killed these 3 chiefs, and the reason is just bizarre. It's not something to be mentioned. But what's the significance of this, and how does it affect the Ambazonian Revolution? It's a terrible thing. And this is just to show you the biggest mafia in this revolution that you say you're fighting for independence. And the mafia is between Chris Anu, Oliver Field Marshal, and the Cameroon government. I think it's the kind of Lebialem elite mafia. Paul Tassom was looking for a leverage to use it to condemn Ambazonian in the international community. And Field Marshal gave him the opportunity to do that because the Field Marshal that I always have told you before that has defected. And remember that National Telegraph did not say that Field Marshal led the BLM. From day one, when we indicated Field Marshal defected, we said he is still in the BLM, but some of his fighters have gone to Ghana and Nigeria and other places. But Field Marshal himself was still in the BLM. And this is a testimony. Everybody who is from the BLM knows this story about these 3 chiefs. If you're trying to hide it, you should just hide it in peace and don't get to, disturb National Telegraph while they are not reporting it. So these 3 chiefs were killed by Field Marshal, and we are very much not surprised that Chris Anu had to do an audio trying to say that, oh, it's the Cameroon military who did that. When you do a lie, an audio that is very, very, very not factual, like what some of them are doing, trying to spin it around, what do? You give the population the idea to believe that everything that people have been saying in this revolution is not true. But the story is very clear. Field Marshal killed the 3 chiefs. And this is because Field Marshal does not longer work for the revolution. Field Marshal does not work for the revolution. And it's very important. We will speak the truth at any time, any day. And we know it will give time for some of you to build up conspiracies. But we are doing our job as journalists and as a media organ. The 3 chiefs is a bad thing to see that you kill your own people from the same area. And you gave Cameroon government the leverage to go organize something in Yaoundé and begin to corrode the image of other rebel leaders. It's a sad thing. And so this shows you the connection between Field Marshal and Cameroonian authorities. We clearly said it, and we're still going to repeat it, that Chris Anu and his brother, they are simply here because they want the money and they want the favor from the Cameroon government. And they're doing that. So anybody who wants to challenge the information we've given out here, from Field Marshal to the Ndu issue, all of it, 1,000,000% authentic. Batibo is just a fact. No child was burned alive in Batibo, but this was used to ensure that they corrode the image of Ayabacho and other rebel leaders, and for the Cameroon government to get a leverage at the level of the international community. So the 3 chiefs, we've shown you their pictures. Everybody from Eswata knows the story. Most, if not all, the people from the BLM know that story, that Field Marshal killed the chiefs. And it's just for all Ambazonians to come out and condemn that barbaric act and give the Ambazonians a good face at the level of the international community. Let me tell you the truth. Chris Anu, everybody in the international community knows that he's not a serious person. Because it's easy for people to always reach out. To say, okay, this thing happened here. This thing didn't happen here. So you tell us, the BLM, did this thing actually happen? Yeah, they'll get to the villagers. And there's nobody you're going to kidnap, you're going to tie, you're going to beat up. And there's nobody you're going to kill his chief. And for no reason that the person will not tell the truth to what happened. We have spoken with many people from Minnesota. And they gave us these pictures, gave the name of the market, gave everything, gave us the date that this happened. And if you want, the story will be up on National Telegraph after this live show. So we want to say that all those who are parading falsehood must stop, because for the war to come to an end, both the government and the rebels must come on the table, discuss, and end the suffering of the masses. It's so important. I will now look at some of the questions you want to give me. You want to ask me, and then I'll answer very quickly. And we'll take it from there. Yeah, I will look at the questions you want to give me. If you have questions for me, let me look at it. All your concerns will be answered here. So I will just start by answering one concern. Somebody got me, so there's somebody, yes, of course, the BLM story is authentic. Field Marshal did it because they wanted to give the Cameroon government something to do in Yaoundé. And that is the deal they are doing with Chris Anu. Some of you will not believe it, but you only believe it when everything will be done. And you say, oh, Eric Tataw and National Telegraph, they're always speaking the truth. So that's it. So it is a terrible thing. And everybody from the BLM knows exactly that that's what happened. Field Marshal is a shame, it's a disgrace, it's pathetic that you have to kill chiefs for reasons that we don't know. But of course, the reason is simple, is to give the Cameroon government a leverage to be able to use it as a propaganda and to corrode the image of Ambazonia. You saw it, Paul Tasson was in Yaoundé organizing a whole lot of things and calling Ambazonian terrorists. He was not limiting it just to Field Marshal. He said stop terrorism. And this goes a long way to corrode the image of separatists. Yes. So let us look at the questions you have. No, the issue of the chief is a sad thing, and Chris Ano and T. Masha, they know why they killed those chiefs. It's not normal. You go slaughter 3 chiefs. Somebody said, I'm prepared from any lawsuit from Lucas Asu. Of course, I'm prepared for anything. We use our professional media to make sure that, of course, Canada and USA, they are binding. So he can come to the USA and sue us, and we'll show him the proof. He's working with the Cameroon government. We can tell you this 1,000,000%. He's one of the highest persons that destroys the Amazonian revolution and looks like he's supporting Cho. If you look most of his shows, after most of his shows, he increased the hatred for Cho Ayaba by 100%. Those of you who are following, you know. So that is the information. Yes. Okay, the video, where does the video come from? Definitely not from Batibo. We're still trying to put our fingers on it. And that's just a fact. Yeah, end Anglophone crisis. We're going to have the hashtag. Thank you, Micheline, Mitch, Ewan. It's important. The crisis got to end somehow, you know. Yep. So let's look at what's going on. So I'm looking at your question. Oh, clear proof that Lucas who works with the Cameroon government. I'm the proof. If I tell you, means it's a fact, because you know we don't just come to say things like that. And we have contacted a lot of the ADF guys before. He works with the government. That is 100% confirmed. We can tell authoritatively. All right? So it's very important. When we tell somebody works with the government, the person does. Remember, we told you, Field Marshal, remember that I was the first person, or National Guard was the first to report about the fact that Field Marshal kidnapped a chief or some Lebialem resident one time, and everybody was arguing. Now, you see it. He went and killed 3 chiefs. Because he's now, everything he's doing will be against the revolution, against your revolution. And our job here is to report. Good question. Let me see. I'll look at the questions, okay? Ask all your questions. Meanwhile, you hashtag where you're coming from. So we have highlighted the issue in Bahrain, which I'm going to talk a little bit. And that you have my number. If you have issues, anybody who's taking money from people and brought them to Bahrain and is unable to make sure that they have everything down there the way they planned and when they were living in Cameroon or wherever you're coming from, make sure you reach us on our numbers. You have all our numbers are online, so we can put up the story and bring the person to book. Okay, thank you. We promised to talk about Jume Franklin, who has been sacked as boss of Lycée Bileng Mendong, that's government bilingual high school. He's been sacked on Monday. We have the documentation. He's been sacked, and you know, Franklin is a xenophobic guy who preaches very much a lot of hate, and everybody's jubilating that he's been sacked. I'll look at the question, okay? Oh, very good question. Somebody says you always bring news and you are the first to broadcast it. And of course, all of our information is true. And can we also say you're working with the government? Well, let me just go straight to the point. Remember that we're a media organ. We are registered. We are professionals. We don't just run just normal blogs. And we report. Look at all people who are claiming to report the armed conflict in Cameroon's northwest and southwest. Look at the highest person who discloses, Cameroon atrocity. It will be National Telegraph. We reported the children who were killed in Kumba. We were the first to report the Kumba incident, first to report the Mautu incident, the Bamenda teenagers who were killed, the guy who was beaten in Ndo. We are the first to indicate that those soldiers are not being kept there. So there's no way you can work in the Cameroon government and you're exposing very crucial things. We report issues when it comes to senators and meetings for all Anglophones and Cameroonians who have concerns to attend. We bring information about U.S. public gatherings and all of those things. So those are information that the Cameroon government will conceal, all right? So let's get your next question, all right? We're looking at that. You see, the truth is that National Telegraph is probably the only media organ that reports a lot about the crisis, and we bring the facts and we nail the Cameroon government, and we also have the opportunity to nail some reckless separatists at the time. Okay, good. Some question about willing and prepared to work with Dr. Cho. Well, I cannot answer that question because I'm here in my capacity as CEO of National Telegraph, not some activist. All right, okay. What's the question? Okay, it's concrete evidence about Lucas Asu and Kemi Asu. Of course, we'll see how that goes, but what I've told you is a fact, 100%. you always remember that there are a lot of things that were reported that we didn't bother to bring any evidence, and it always comes out to be like that. For example, you have the Naira 10, when we reported that Nalova B was not extradited. We have a lot of stories that you've read from us that people, take for example, the female referee from Ethiopia, when everybody reported that she was going to officiate the opening match. Everybody, but it was fake news, and we didn't report it. And we said that, listen, this woman is not going to officiate it. Many people came to us, oh, why are you always contradicting other people? You want to show that you know. No, it's not about showing that you know. It's about the fact that you have facts and you just report it. And they say, okay, you said he's not going to do the opening match. Who told you? And we said, we don't have the leverage to give you our source or our sources. And you only see it happen that she finally did not officiate the opening match, okay? Oh, when are you going to be able to download Dimples? That's soon. I cannot give you a date. We were hoping we're going to launch it on the 20th, but we can't because a lot of things. We are doing the test run, and you know how it is. So I'm working. I got advised by the developers to make sure that we work according to their pace, because a lot there's going to be done. We have the chat section. That's so nice. You're going to be chatting and respond to people. So we're doing everything. So it's a lot of things put together. We're also trying to get an option where you can actually just record a video, hold it, and you post it immediately without even saving it on your phone, and also taking a live picture and posting it on Dimples. So we are doing all of those together. So thank you so much. Okay. Let me look at this. This is a very important question. Okay, because Tataw is not the first to report Batibo and Kemi Ashu, and indeed it is fake news. Yes. It's not about being the first to report. It's about reporting what is factual. So Kemi Ashu reported, can you tweet us where it happened in Batibo? Call all the villages in Batibo and give us the name of the family. Have you asked yourself why you don't have the name of the family? You should have at least one family name. For example, if something happens in Kendem, you will know the name, the quarter. You must know. Just as it happened in Du, we have known the name of the victim, right? We know the date that it happened, and you've seen communicate. So even the Cameroon government finally used the lies that Kemi Ashu put there, like we explained to you, to ensure that they talked about Cho Ayaba and try to correct his image. All right. Okay. No, I don't think to me, somebody asking, is this the end of the war, Ambassador of Independence? That is a big lie. The war will never end until there's a negotiation. To be honest, from our investigation, Ambassador has many more fighters in the bushes than you ever imagined. There are just too many fighters. Okay. So it's difficult. The only thing that will stop the war is a negotiated settlement. That's what we can tell you at the national telegram. The way forward to end the crisis is a dialogue. It's everybody coming together, let them talk, a negotiated settlement. Sometimes when you say dialogue, people say, oh, what do you mean by dialogue? Yes, a settlement in negotiation is a dialogue. Dialogue means you're talking, all right, with some other person. All right, so I'm looking at your questions. Let's go. Oh, the way forward, like I've said, is negotiation, right? Somebody asked a question. Were you paid to? Oh, good question. Were you paid to set up Choyaba in London? Was Eric Tataw the one who set up Choyaba in London? The London issue was a test of Dr. Cho's grit. He went there. Maybe he had. They say sometimes we say the best, the worst harms will come from the best intention. Maybe he had a good intention to go get something that will end the war, but they also portrayed him as a greedy person because he went there alone without informing other leaders. So you can't say that it was something paid. No, I mean, you always have to get things like that. So, by the way, Eric Tataw he doesn't live in London. I live in the capital of the world, in the USA. So it's just that way, All right. Please, can we get the questions coming? Someone's talking about loving. All right. Okay. Good question. So I'm looking at your question. I'm looking at a few questions that would demand answer. We're going to have it. Can I see your questions, please? Okay, so we're happy that all of you join us. Okay, some good questions. Somebody say, why do you find it so difficult to mention Ambassador as your main topic? Because professionally, I can do that in a heading. For example, if you try it on Facebook, put Ambassador hashtag and see if a flag will come out for Ambassador. So if we are following a standard, we're following a standard. And one of the major reasons why we have to mention Cameroon before talking about Ambassador inside is because it gives us the leverage for our news to be believed by the international community. All right. So there is no way we can, So, I mean, good question. What about that? That is on there on www.dacommunity.com. So you can check it out. It's right there. Every information you want about DAC is there. I am just a member. And DAC has managers led by Alem Adwa in Delaware and Gideon in Missouri, Ma and Asta in Germany. I'm not having any manager to DAC. So if you want to get more information about DAC, it's the most transparent organization within the Ambassador Revolution. Metro Nicom from the Netherlands is there. So go to www.dac.com. It's there. And the DAC people will tell you the members are there, over 500, that Eric Tataw has zero impact or when it comes to. The only thing I can do is to, when they have any project that I look at it as sensible, I can advertise it or talk about it. Apart from that, go to www.dacommunity.com. You see everything about that. I want to know number of members, what they have, and so on, their policies, portals for you to upload proposals, and all of those. It's right there, and I love that because the guys are so transparent. Any more questions, please? Oh, good question. The new Eric page I created was disabled. I can't go live on it. I can't post. I can actually see it, and but I cannot do anything on it. So it's just the same like the Trump page where they disable it indefinitely, so you can see it. So that way, it's difficult for me to even create any other page. Yes. Let me see. Oh, collaboration between leaders is a very great thing. I mean, everybody should be collaborating. To end the war, you guys need to collaborate, okay? Oh, you talk about dialogue. The Cameroon government knows who to dialogue with, okay? Their leaders is so easy. Let them start anywhere. Let them start with any of the leaders, and the others will join. If you think that maybe there are just many leaders, the Cameroon government should make an attempt. They should pick somebody, start with them, start with anybody, and then we see how it goes. After all, the ambassadors have an aspiration, they have an ideology, and I don't think that any of the leaders who represent the ambassadors will go there and do something that is contrary to the aspiration of the people, and they will just accept it. No. All right. I don't understand. Someone was trying to say that. The Swiss process is dead and buried. It doesn't exist. Okay, that one is finished. We can investigate that. You can put it out there. Okay. Okay. So can we have some last few questions before I close the show? Can we have some last question? Oh, somebody asked if I can predict the struggle. Well, I wouldn't say that just yet. But the fact is that what I'm sure about is that there will be a negotiated settlement, no matter what the Cameroon government does, Let me see what question is this. All right, so we'll take some few more questions and I'll be gone. So we can attend to other things. Yeah, indeed, everybody should be tired of the lies that the Cameroonian authorities are saying, including having some Ambazonians, is important. You can always repeat your questions because I can't see all of them. So I think so please, those of you in Bahrain, you have difficulties, you're going to contact me and then explain your stories to me. We'll reach out to the people who are who have taken your money, see if we can negotiate them to get your stuff done, or if they don't, we'll take another step to make sure that we bring justice to you, okay? Somebody asked if Ambazonian leaders would take anything less than independence. You know, well, from their stance, I know they can't. But everybody has to get to the table to see what is there and see the middle point where everybody should be accepting what, and you know. So, I mean, those questions will only be answered when the negotiation starts, and of course, there's going to be negotiation somehow, someday. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to leave you. You see, I have somebody downstairs that I have to attend to. And thank you so much. I mean, you know, we are glad that you followed our editorial. Very pleased to have you all the time on the show, you know, and we thank you for everything. So we say God bless you and remain very faithful. One thing I want to advise you, remain focused, put your hard work and prayers into the hands of God. Happy Ash Wednesday and thank you all. You know, we are very happy that you follow the show, a lot of you, without any pre-announcements. So let me leave you all. Thank you, and once more thank you, Kobo, for the wonderful music, and God bless you. Bye-bye. Maybe we'll see you tomorrow, next day or something, but we'll let you know when we're coming. And thank you. Always make sure you stay very connected. Soon Dimples will be up and running, and we'll let you know. Thank you all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.